right, everyone, let's get to it. Real estate has been changing over the last few months. We're probably going to see it change some more. We're looking at prospecting, how online lead generation and conversion and just that whole process in our business is going to continue to change. What's working right now? And so I brought in Mark. Mark Rader is a friend of mine. We've been working together for I think eight years, 7 years about. He's also a coach
Eons.
with a brilliant tribe with us, and he is the founder or co-founder of a company called Revel Up. It's an online lead company. In fact, Mark, if you can put up the link there while I talk about it. But I'm bringing him on because he gets to see not only as a real estate agent, top real estate agent out here in California, but also as someone who helps generate the actual leads that go out to us as agents. And it's a different conversation when you have that with somebody who understands both sides of this. So first of all, the one concern I have as an agent, Mark, is
Mhm.
the ability to convert buyer leads, because the one thing I'm hearing is let's just focus on purely seller leads because this whole world has shifted over to getting listings because the listing agent is the one that dictates what the payout is going to be, and then the buyer agent has to negotiate it.
Right.
How have you approached that thought?
Yep. Um, in terms of as like a realtor.
In terms as a real estate agent, because you're calling
Yeah.
buyer leads and you're still
Right.
converting them, right?
Yes. Well, how about we take a real life example for something that happened with an online lead last week?
Buyer or seller?
Buyer.
Okay, shoot, go.
So, our buyer lead came through. I called them on the prospect or die call, which if you want to fill them in on that, what that is later, please do. Um, Converted this lead live on Zoom, and what ended up happening was this is pretty fresh since like last week is pretty fresh since all of the new forms came into like actual law effect. And the way I went about it was by explaining in increments. Like, hey,
Mhm.
there's going to be some forms coming your way. This is new, hot off the press stuff. You're
Okay.
probably not used to this if you've seen homes before, but this is the law and this is what's changing. Here's an article for you to take a peek at, just so you
Okay.
can see like from an outside source from also from Google what's
Hmm.
going on, and then let's unpack it and chat about it.
Okay.
That was actually received very well. The Google link for the article about the lawsuit and what it entails, and just
Hmm.
you can pretty much throw a rock and find a pretty decent article on this stuff.
That's true.
And then just jumping on a call after sending the form
Hmm.
and diving into it, saying, "Hey, look, here's what this entails." Um, and mind you, this is not someone that I know, that I've had a chance to build serious rapport with. It's not a referral.
Okay.
This is a warm lead, but it's still close to like a cold relationship, right?
Yep, it is.
So having to show value in, a matter of a day or two can be a little challenging compared to knowing someone, or like a family member's friend or a past client's friend or whatever it may be. So
Okay.
by doing these steps of providing information, not rushing something, not being like sign this, sign this, sign this, having value of, hey, let's go over this together, really spoke volumes to this buyer lead. She ended up signing the form, but I want to make it very clear, on that form, I didn't put that the buyer had to pay for any compensation, because I want to get in front of this person and this individual, show them the property first and foremost. And then
Mhm.
once it's time to sign the buyer broker agreement, then start to negotiate and see like how my value can be um, seen in a dollar amount. If this individual buyer I'm sorry, if I don't get paid in a scenario by a seller. Um, but lo and behold, this customer is going to be like a down payment assistance. So this customer will not be able to pay. Like literally will not be able to pay. So this is going to come straight down to negotiations on my end. in order to be
Mhm.
compensated. And I'm okay with that. Let's do this.
Well, that's what I think that's where it's about. That's what it's about right there. Being able to, one, accept that this is the new world. Number two, it's going to come down to us being able to negotiate how much money we're going to earn based on our value, which is a great transition to this because I've got something that I want to share with everybody. Because look at the questions right now. You got two similar questions as far
Yep.
as, well, where can we find an article that isn't biased or just spews the facts? Well, I've got you. Mark and I actually created something. By the way, Mark and I work together. We're, we're on the same team and we're on the same brokerage and we coach together and we do our calls together as well live on Thursdays. So we do a
Mhm.
lot together. So we created this. I'm going to share this with you and then I'll put up a link to it. Everyone who's part of Revel Up, Mark, make sure that they get something like this, and I'll explain to you how we use it. So first, this we created 23 days ago. I think it was 23 days ago because that's what it said on the file, which I'll share with you. But if you're looking at what this is it's a simple document. Look, that's it, one page. One page. We took what would be on a great Wall Street Journal article or New York Times. We removed the biases and we just gave people the facts. This is a new landscape and this is what it does. And this is the core agreement. That's it. It's pretty easy. And here's how we use it. Mark, you're calling me. And then, by the way, yes, we'll give it to you. But Mark, sorry, I'm calling you and you're the buyer. So conversations happens like, hey, Tristan, hey, Mark, it's Tristan. Listen, you visited our website through Google or through Revel Up or through Facebook. And I'm just calling to see how your home search is going or whatever it says we're saying. Like, oh, we're
Mhm.
just looking. Great. Look, I don't want to spam you. Listen, are you looking closer to be on the ocean or the mountains, all that stuff? And then we get past it. And then we realize that they're just looking. They just started their home search. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm building a relationship. And so is Mark. So I say, great, Mark, listen, no problem. And the last thing I want to do is send you homes that you don't want to see. So the very first few that I send you, I'm going to be texting you. Just let me know, am I hitting the right homes or the right idea or not, right? Even if you're on our website 5, 6, 7 years from now and you're still looking, I just want to make sure you're having a great time. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, definitely. Great. I'll text you. And then Mark, once we hang up, I don't know if you know, but the way that we do business in real estate has changed just over the last few weeks. And I'm going to send you one document that explains that just so you understand what this looks like now. Are you familiar? Have you heard about it? And then I just go that route. And they're like, yeah, we've heard about it or no. So great. I'll send that one over to you. And then I'll follow up with you in about a week just to see how things are going and see what you thought of the document. But that document, we can use at any point of where they're at in their journey. If they're just looking, if they're getting closer, like, yeah, maybe, you know what, 6 months from now, or if they're ready, because that explains everything super quick. It's like, oh, I understand this. And then it sets it up for what Mark did, which was, great. Now that you understand, we need something signed, right? And then that
Mhm.
depends on you. Do you do a Zoom presentation and say, hey, we want to go for the buyer broker signature? Or do you do a tour agreement, right? The tour agreement for some of these buyer leads is definitely a lot easier, right? This is why Zillow went that route as well, right?
Mhm.
That we're dating slowly. And I think that's a realization that agents have to have that some don't yet. Go ahead, Mark.
That's the one that path I chose for this individual
Yeah. And
client.
I don't
Yeah.
know that there's a wrong path, man. It's just a matter of getting to the end game, which is our goal is to help as many people as possible buy a home and achieve their
Mhm.
dreams, right? And do it in a way where we build relationships, right? And I think
Yep.
that's what we're doing really well. I just put up the link here of that doc that Mark and I created. Just give me a hands up to let me know that you can open it, please.
And download. Look at that.
Yeah, open download, please give me a thumbs up in the chat, and then we'll go over to the next thing. Now, Mark, if you, okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. So now we're getting a lot of Revel Up leads. Let's shift a little bit over to seller leads because we are getting some seller leads from Revel Up. And the thing that I like about it is that they're real numbers, real people, right? That's a good thing. But what I'm noticing is
It's
that
a good start.
it's a good start. It's a good. But what I'm also noticing is the realization that some of these are going to take 6 months, 8 months, a year, right? Because they're just barely getting started. And
Right.
so knowing that from the very beginning, especially now since we're targeting a lot more seller leads online, it's being able to have this process in place to take care of them. So what I want to know from you is how do you how do you stay on somebody who's 6 months to a year out from selling? Like they're just starting to look at their value.
Right. Um, it's honestly it's very similar to working a buyer lead. Um, it just the just the rules change a little bit. The dialogue changes a little bit. The approach changes a little bit. Um, it's just it's a little bit different, but the same concept applies. And that concept is is staying relevant and staying in front of the consumer
Mm-hmm.
with and this is critical, with being of service and value.
Mm-hmm.
So so I know talking about seller leads, but let me just, for the sake of the conversation, let me put on the buyer agent hat. This will help with explaining this.
Shoot.
With the buyer agent hat, we have, okay, so someone who says I'm looking in 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Well, you and I both know, and everyone here in this webinar, that 6 to 12 months could very well be 3 to 6 months, right?
True.
Could could be, could be longer,
Mm-hmm.
could be right on the money. So all of us who here who have worked with a buyer who said that before, we consistently send them homes. We check in
Mm-hmm.
with them, see if there's anything off market. We show them properties that are in their general area that have sold. We give them updates on interest rates, how that may have changed their payments,
Okay.
and other market updates, right?
Okay.
So putting on the selling agent hat and the listing agent hat, we do the same thing. We reach out, we say, hey, here's, after the first, consultation, meeting, whatever it is, listing appointment, whatever. We reach out continuously, at least once a month, and say, hey, here's a new update for you on your home evaluation.
Mm,
There's a couple properties that just sold, or hey, there's something coming in to the market, that's actually nearby you. It's not on the
mm,
market yet, but it's coming soon. And here's how it can actually affect your home value in a positive light. Or
okay.
hey, here's what's going to change with interest rates. So the Fed say. With that being said, what's going to happen, in my predictions, is that your value could increase by X, Y, and Z
Uh,
because of the change in the market, for the rates. And it could
mm,
also increase the pool of buyers, which will increase, the amount of offers, which can increase how much you're going to get for your home. So you see where I'm going here with this?
yep.
You're always showing up, providing valuable
Value.
information, and staying in front of the consumer, and not being like, hey, are you ready to sell your house yet? That's never going to work. I mean, well, I shouldn't say never, but
It works,
it's
but
not
it doesn't
gonna
work
work.
as much as
Yeah,
leading, right? I think that that'd be the thing.
exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. So then with that, there are also, by the way, we have another piece for you. Because we did think ahead. And we're layering these. I don't know if any of you have Lofty. Do any of you have Lofty, using Lofty? Um, well, we're layering these. Well, you and I do, Mark, of course.
Joe. Oh,
We're
look
layering,
at Joe's in the chat. Hey, buddy.
what's up, Joe? We're layering these into a lot of these drips that you're going to see. Today, you're only going to see one. We're layering these into our Lofty accounts for the brokerage, right? For Y Realty, because I don't know if you guys saw the announcement, but um, we just created Y Realty, right? So Mark's here, and I'm going to show you something that I think you will like. So we're layering these in, and yes, we'll give them out to you right now for free. So over the years, Mark and I have built a lot of the drips that are out there in the world that a lot of these big companies have added. They've used multiple ones of ours because we're actually talking to agents and we're talking to the consumer. So that's a cool thing. We do both. And so here are the online seller lead drips. Now, these are meant to not shut off. These don't shut off after consumer response. So these keep going. That's the idea. And this is what works for us. Now, for you, it may work differently. So this is why we're giving them out to you. You may want to change something. You may not talk the same way. You may not text the same way. But you can see it slowly expands as it gets further and further out, right? And these are it ends at about 160 days. So typically it's somebody who's closer to probably listing, and then that comes down to us, meaning Mark and I. Let me grab this and let me grab the link. Mark and I determining based on our conversations where they're at. And I'll give you an
Mhm.
example. I called a lead 2 weeks ago. Oh, you know what, dude? I didn't do it live because they called me back. It was not Michelle, the lady with the manufactured home. It was another gentleman, Marvin, and he called me.
Yes.
He called me back. It was a home in Simi Valley. And then he said, "Hey, I just missed your call." I'm like, "Hey, is this Marvin?" As I thought it was. He's like, "Yeah." I go, "You inquired about your home value, and I just wanted to get a better understanding of your home. Have you remodeled anything?" And then he instantly goes, "What does that matter? I just want my value." I was like, "Oh, okay, got it. I know I know which route to take this." Right? said, I said, "Marvin, I'm sorry. I was just trying to get a better idea of the value of your home based on any upgrades. Sounds like it's just as it is." So, and then I just went right into it. I'm like, "The value of your home is," because I already checked. "The value of your home is this." And then he instantly changed. He goes, "Oh, that's what I thought." It hits right there. And then he by himself goes, "Yeah, and I haven't remodeled anything, so it's pretty basic." Right. And then the conversation opened up. Right. So we need to pay attention to the tonality of who we're
Mhm.
talking to, because that'll determine what you ask next and how you ask. So now I know, because we talked for a while, now I know he's going to probably look to sell in the next 6 months. So then
Mhm.
I would add, and let me guys, give me your hands up here. I need to know if you can open this, please. Mark, can you open that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to go.
Perfect. So that's for you all to tweak. And if you're getting seller leads from Revel Up, that's definitely what we're using, or buyer leads. We have a whole buyer drip too, but we are not sharing that one with you today, but we will in the next one. The idea here is to show you that there are nuances to the way things are going to progress with online leads, but at the end of the day, it's still all about connecting with them on a
Mhm.
relationship level where they feel like you're not really pushing your agenda. You're coming from a point, like Mark exactly said, a point of contribution, a point of value. Get to the point. You're not selling me anything. You're just helping me. And
Mhm.
the faster we can get there, the faster they open up. And this is why we always lead with, or sometimes lead with, look, I just don't want to spam you, right? I even hesitate on purpose. I'm like, right? It almost sends a signal that, okay, got it. I understand. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not a prey to this person. He's not trying to sell me anything. And it opens up. So yeah, Mark, I don't want to spam you. In fact, I only want to send you things that you want to see. So tell me, do you want to be closer to, or do you want a townhome? Do you want a house? Do you want a fixer? What are you looking for? Right. So then
Yeah.
that opens up, tonality changes. And I think that's what we need to do a better job with when we're looking at online leads, because the problem isn't online leads, right? There are people inquiring about something and they're coming to us. We don't know at what stage they're at. The challenge is the person that's picking up the phone and then having that conversation. No, they're
Hmm.
not going to be ready to purchase. Surprise. No, they don't want to set an appointment right now. Surprise. Most just want to know more about that property and give it to them. Give them the information, connect with them, and then build a relationship. And I think that's what,
Hmm.
Mark, that's what you and I do so well in building these relationships long term.
Hmm.
So I don't know that that will
Absolutely.
change, but I do think that the way we approach this signature document is going to evolve in the next, I think it evolves faster uh, than any
Hmm.
other part of this conversation. So I think in the next 3 to 4 months, we'll start seeing what starts dominating in different states. Like, hey, are we leading more with the tour agreement, right? Are we leading more with the full presentation, even if it's on Zoom, right? And by the way, we have
Hmm.
this great one, which we went over on it was a checklist here. I know some of you are in coaching, so yeah, we went over this buyer presentation checklist for real estate agents. Just our checklist of questions to ask, so we don't forget the value we offer and the things we need to talk about, like sign the agreement, like if you're going to get that agreement signed, and then
Hmm.
all of the different phases for how to talk to people when it comes down to working with them with a contract. So I think all of this becomes more and more important, and it's going to evolve over the next, I think, October, November, December. Here's what's going to happen, Mark. November 26th, and correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. It's the 26th or the 27th. I think it's the 26th. November 26th is when the signatures go on the settlement. So before that, the Department of Justice is still looking to step in and give their thumbs up or give their thumbs down as to some things that could or couldn't change on whatever is out there. So
Hmm.
we still run a chance of some of this changing or getting at least a lot more clear about what's expected.
Hmm.
So things are still going to maybe change a little bit. And so I think over the next 3 months, we're going to really see what this looks like as well. Mark, anything in closing, buddy?
You know, I do want to say something in closing. The we appreciate you guys being here, and also to those of you who are going to be watching this recording. And I know a lot of us here have been on a lot of webinars and a lot of coaching calls and a lot of things like this. But I want to take a moment to just pause and shine the spotlight on this very thing. And that's grab these two Google Docs that Tristan posted, and especially the last one with the 160-day plan for the nurture. And I know it seems daunting, like, oh, 160-day plan, and I have to change the verbiage and change out some of the links. But guys, maybe consider hiring, outsourcing someone to do that for you for just a couple days. You know, maybe it's someone in the office, Fiverr, I don't know, whatever it may be, virtual assistant. Maybe just spend some time on that, because you're investing in yourself and your business, and take what we're showing you today and implement it. Because I know it's easy to watch these things or throw it on when you're on a workout, or you're cooking or whatever you're doing, or in the middle of your workday. But actually take the time and do this and take action today, because it's going to pay dividends for tomorrow.
Hmm. Dude, that's a great ending. I love that. I'll add one thing. You could also, instead of hiring somebody, go to ChatGPT and have it recreated in your words, as long as you identify, hey, this is who I am, this is the type of business I run, and say, recreate this in my verbiage, right? So there you go.
Yes.
Everyone, Mark, thank you so much. Let's everyone
Thank you, man.
let's
Wait, real
visit.
quick, the chat. There's a couple people asking you some questions real quick.
Um, what do we got? What do we got? Yes, it opened. Can you share the buyer presentation? Can you send the checklist? Thank you. A lot of valuable information. Brilliant ChatGPT idea. Fred, right? Yeah. Listen, if you jump into Revel Up and check them out, and I just want to help out Mark, right? If you guys sign up for that, we'll give you the buyer drips that we've created and modified, and we'll give you the checklist as well. Mark, you just tell me who signed up. I'll send them over to you.
Cool.
And Joe's right. If you're part of a brilliant tribe, you get all of this all the time. I mean, we're having a call this afternoon. So
Oh,
check
wait,
out
real
Revel Up.
quick.
Shoot.
Tell them about Prospect or Die.
That's a that's another one. Joe, why don't I ever see you at Prospect or Die, Joe? I'm just messing with you.
What
Uh,
is it?
Prospect or Die is Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And Mark and I go on there and you listen to us make calls live. You watch our screen and you watch us call, text, email, have real conversations with our database. And our database is like, it could be open house leads, online leads, past clients. We've done expireds for sale by owners. We've done it all, and we do it live so you can learn how to quickly adapt. You also see some of our inadequacies because sometimes we're like, I didn't expect that, which is great, and that's all part of a brilliant tribe. But these are real conversations, guys, which is the best part about this. So. You can always join us, just listen in, or participate. You can mute us and just make those calls. But we'll see you later today if you're part of coaching. If you are in Revel Up, you get those calls for free as well, the Prospect or Die. So either way, there's two ways in. Mark, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. And everyone else, thank you. Have an awesome day.
Tristan. Thanks, everyone.